well, just somebody come. Let's start a project, and we have the first meeting is next Thursday. Let's see who shows up for that. All 20,000 folks you don't see them. Maybe there's 3 or 4 people. So if you only got 3 or 4 people, you work with those 3 or 4 people, and that 3 or 4 people will multiply. It'll look like you work with 1,000 because now you got 3 dedicated people because they understand and they're willing to put the work in. It's about work. It's about the grind. And if you don't have anybody to help you support that idea is dead. You can do certain things by yourself, but it's much, much more effective and enjoyable when you got people working with you. You got something to say about that?
I got something to say.
Right.
Media is important too because that's becoming a feeder for the kids. And if the images are fucked up, they're gonna, it's already happening. So what we need to do is change those images, not to make it corny, but to make it more wholesome, and to give us some more morality, for the children, so that that generation can keep growing, because right now, you got little babies walking around with their booties and their little things on, like like the mama says, like it's kind of sad, and in the society that the other people live in, they don't have the children doing that. You don't see in one video with their kids doing that. So we need to start looking at our children and ourselves and see what we could do to uplift, you know. And then it's the media. It's the TikTok. It could be shorties. It could be whatever. But if it's constantly pushed out by everybody who has one of these, it's going to start making a difference. And if it gets to a point where they start cutting that off, we create our own platform. We just create our own platform and start doing it, on YouTube, or create our own channel, and people subscribing, but people, it's like a trend. You know what I'm saying? So the rappers have to be demolished for some of their bullshit that they're putting out there, because it's not productive. It's not helping anybody, and so that has to be. But how do you do that? That's a good question, because which I'm asking myself, because like you don't want to you don't want to turn them off. But you want to, if you could make them more self-aware. Make them more self-aware of who they are, what they're doing, how powerful they have. Now they can, now their whole meaning behind it is the money. But money is not going to be the big thing anymore. It's not money. Media, through the media, you create, they can have their money, but through you see the other society doing that, and they're making money off of them. So that's what we have to start looking at, our priorities, and I think media is the foundation for, among other things, education, and what we're doing here. Teaching, people who are incarcerated, they can come, and who can't find things to do, they can come here and they can work. Some place for them to give back to society, make a way for them, and make a way for them so they can be productive, you know, and build like a coca spot. It used to be a little hole in the wall, and it's just growing and growing and growing. So I'm hoping it's black owned, right?
Yeah. Still, is it still?
Check it. So that's a beautiful thing, and people come and support that, and the same thing is happening. I think it's a good. It's gonna. This is a start right here.
I was, I come from a very different tradition in the last moment. My tradition is political science. It's not farming, not even poetry. It's political science. How do we study what is happening to us? How do we combat it? How do we build upon it? And how do we win? I'm not interested in fucking gestures.
Come on.
I'm not interested in demonstrations. I'm interested in concrete political reality. When we had the East Wind, I taught the political workshop. We had people coming in from all walks of life, kids, everybody else. And I believe the first thing we have to do is develop a credo. What is our credo? What do we believe? I've developed 3 concepts. It's not just me, a few other people did this. 3 concepts. Ideology. What do you believe in? Really? If they torture you, if they beat the shit out of you, what do you believe in? Do you believe in money? Do you believe in land, free the land? What do you believe in? That's what's happening. So that's ideology. The second one is leadership. We have a problem with that because we have egos. Leadership. You need people who lead who are competent, who are giving, who are compassionate, and who take no shit from anybody. You may not like them, but they ain't bullshit. I got that concept from the fact that I was raised in gangs. I am a Harlemite for 100 years. My mother came there, my grandmother came there in 1925 from Puerto Rico. And the only way you could survive in Harlem was being part of a group. So I became part of a gang. My grandfather was a gin guy with the Italians. And I would watch the Italians, watch how they move. And their thing is all of us have to protect the industry, whatever it was. Remember, at that time, it was illegal liquor. And my grandfather became enamored. They loved him because he wouldn't talk, he wouldn't say shit, but he knew he was Puerto Rican and a black man. In fact, one day, I'll tell you this. I was a reporter. I've gotten awards for reporting. I won 2 Emmys in New York for being the best reporter, and on TV. And I'm trying to do something on a building that was burned down by the mob, and they wouldn't talk to me. Now my last name is Luciano. It's Luciano, and Luciano is Sicilian. So they knew who the fuck I was. The guy came down from a building. The building was already burned down. The mayor was an Italian guy named what was his name? The Italian. No.
No, before him.
The guy who worked for Trump.
Giuliani.
Now
I won't forget that name.
So he wanted to go after him. He was turning in people. He was turning his own people. Anyway, long story short, they hated him. So I was doing the story, and a kid comes down to me to show you how important ties are. Comes down and says, "You're Filippo," and in Sicilian, Felipe is Filippo. And I said, "Yeah." He said, "My grandfather says your grandfather was a stand-up guy." You know what that means in Sicilian language? Stand up. It's like this. He ain't turning nobody in. He's cool. Yes, it's a gang organization, but when they respect you like that, let me tell you something about Italians. They may not like black people. They call us moolies. But when they love you, forget about it. You can't even tell them that somebody hurts you because they go after you. Somebody bothering you, kid? No, Gio, no. Tell me if somebody's bothering you. You need some money? No, I don't need it. Because, the boy's out. You know that once you tell him, that boy's off the count. So, he comes down and he says, "My grandfather's watching this TV while you're doing it live." He says, "Your grandfather's a stand-up guy." What I'm trying to point out is that all of us need a gang. You can call it an organization.
Right.
The so-called founding fathers were a gang.
Right.
The Carnegies and the Vanderbilts were a gang. How do we develop a black and Latin gang that is serious about not only building, but protecting the investment? Our problem, our contradiction is that we build it, but then we stomp on it. Part of the reason we stomp on it is we don't have a solid tradition of family. Their thing is we call ourselves La Familia. This is a family, Cosa Nostra. That's ours. I'm not making heroes of these guys because they do a lot of stuff that's not right. But in Puerto Rican culture, familia is everything. I don't know if you know anything about Latinos. We are about family. So the first thing is ideology. The next thing is leadership. And leadership has to be connected to family. I'll tell you a little story. They've told me, I've been single a long time, they told me, you got to fucking settle down, kid. Find somebody to settle down. I haven't found that person yet, but I can assure you that settling down, when you have a home, it changes your perspective on what you have to do. Too many of us are alone. Too many men are alone. They're alone. And they're walking around acting like everything's okay. They're not okay. They're killing themselves. They have anxiety. They have nervous breakdowns. And they kill people. So it's time for us to build families. Hello? Do you understand what I'm saying? Families. And I don't care if you've not seen your kid in 12 years. Go see your child. That's your blood. And I don't care if the woman is sleeping with another woman. That's none of your damn business. You go take care of that child. And if she jumps in your face, say, okay, I'll come another time. But the child is important. They're looking at what you're doing. So it's ideology, leadership, and then the third thing is organization. Organization. How do we build it? Now, an organization grows organically, but it grows. There are two enemies to organization. One is the saboteur. The next thing is the saboteur, and but there are people within the organization that always have something to contradict, always saying something to fuck things up. We're moving in this direction. Come with us. If you don't like it, you can change it. But try not to listen to the saboteur. The saboteur likes to sabotage things. Do you understand what I'm saying? And more organizations have been destroyed because of that. So I'm interested in building an organization that is serious about one purpose, whatever that purpose is.
Real quick before you move on, so sorry. How do you deal with that person though? Or those
You
people?
you first of all have to be compassionate but forceful. That doesn't mean you say shut the fuck up, but you argue it down, because there are people who may believe what he's saying or she's saying. And something else, but no, we have infiltrators. But the important thing, and we may have them here, but the important thing is understand that there's nothing that you do that is not going to be looked at and infiltrated by the enemy. I don't want to make you paranoid, but seeing healthy black men and women like y'all, if I'm in the police department, I'm coming in. What are you doing? Why are you doing it?
That's right.
Are they hiding guns? Are they ready to take over Richmond? This is what they're thinking. Remember, this was the place where they would sell babies. They would sell slaves. The babies within the slaves. Only in Richmond, no other place. This was the head of the Confederacy. You don't think?
Their own baby.
That's what I'm saying. The black women, they would sell them. So here's a woman who has a child, so you get two for the price of one. That's the way it was. Don't think that this being the bedrock of Confederacy, that they're not concerned with what's happening. Plus, there's an enormous amount of guilt. They know what they did. They know what they did. And don't believe Latinos who come up to you and tell you, no, but I know blacks. Because their ancestors were transported here from Nigeria, from the Congo, from Sierra Leone, from Mali, sent right here. And the only reason they're white is because there were so many Spaniards who came in and slept with them. We have that in our culture too, in Black American culture. Folks, we got to get past that. All I'm suggesting is this: ideology, leadership, and organization. Make sure it's tight. Make sure the people say, well, you shouldn't pick people who don't agree with you. Bullshit. Find people who agree with you and who are do or die.
That's right.
I like do or die brothers next to me.
That's right.
I refuse to be with people, well, I'm not sure, Felipe, because you're kind of crazy. Listen, if you don't agree with me, fine. I'm not going to get mad at you, but I'm moving on. I'm doing what I got to do.
That's right.
They've broken every bone in my body because I believe in Puerto Rican independence. My whole family's been involved in Puerto Rican independence. And I would hope that some of us will begin to read some more. Too many of us are emotionally involved in negritude, emotionally involved in blackness. You must read the history of Africa. It'll blow your mind. Mali, Songhai, Timbuktu, Egypt. All of the Greeks got their stuff from Egypt. And they're still trying to make Egypt an Arab country, not an African one. They don't want to tell you that Aristotle, Pythagoras, Plato, all of them got their stuff from Egypt. We are not alone in this. We have a history of genius that goes way back. Well, we know Jesus was there. Now, and there was a guy, a black man, Hannibal, who traveled the Alps with 10,000 African elephants. If you know anything about animal training, the African elephant is the most ornery, rebellious, big beast in the world. He traveled with 10,000 of them. And almost beat him. Had they not burned his place in Carthage, in Tunisia, they would have won. If you look at Sicilians, they're all dark. How did that happen? Intermarrying with the Africans who would conquer us. Folks, I'm very proud of being an African. I'm very proud. My mother used to tell me, Africa is your mother. Puerto Rico is your father. Fathers come and go. But your mother is Africa. So I grew up with that already. We've been in Harlem 100 years. Now, I come from the position that of people who are not willing to stand up and defend themselves are already dead. Land is the first part. There's no doubt about it. But at some point, and I'm not talking about no Harper's Ferry or going do or die and getting killed. But sometimes you have to make a stand. I'm saying that all of you should begin to think right now of what do we do if this punk gets elected? What are we going to do? How do you defend your children? Because they are coming. Fascism is serious business. Read the history of Germany, y'all. They said the same thing. I want to make Germany. Hitler said the same thing. I want to make Germany great. He killed more black soldiers, American soldiers. They killed them. I'm not trying to cast a pall on this meeting. I'm saying that I come from a political point, as did Rap Brown, as did Kwame Ture, as did Fred Hampton. We believe arm yourself or harm yourself. Now, I'm not saying you should go out and buy guns right now. Whoever's listening to me, don't go and tell the police that this was an armed because I know some motherfuckers will do that. Just remember, it's nice knowing to defend yourself. Defend your wife, defend your children. Know what to do. The day of reckoning is coming. I've talked to white kids who say, I wish I was black. They have nothing. They are killing themselves in numbers, but so are our children. Don't kid yourself. Black children are committing suicide in record numbers. They don't know what the hell to do with themselves. And as black men, we need to go out in the streets and grab them up and put them in the land. Grab them up and put them in the land. Teach them how to till. Teach them what the deal is. And love them. All of us need a hug. All of us need something. We need family. And finally, I love these guys. I've been with them 50 years. I was the kid of the group. Not once did they bring up that I was Puerto Rican. Not once. I would read poems in Spanish. And they would try to kind of follow me. And they would go ahead and do it, man. Part of the love of a group is that if he's saying it and he believes it, we're going to go with it. We're going to go with it. I don't know how many Latinos you have in this town. Get these Negroes in here.
Yeah.
We met a Venezuelan cab driver. Try to get him in there. I don't own them, but I'm white. Stop!
Yeah.
Don't knock them down because they're white. Explain to them the African presence in South America. Haiti was the one that started freeing these niggas up. I'm serious. All of the South American countries began going forward because of Toussaint Louverture and Dessalines. Toussaint was killed. Dessalines started. When they came in, they started trying to organize Colombia, Brazil. All of those countries became free because they started to see. In Puerto Rico, the government told Puerto Ricans, if you see a Haitian in the streets, arrest him and put him. I'm telling you, Haitians are strong people. Why do you think they're trying to kill these people so much? Is it because they're stupid? Is it because they have no heart? They're doing their best to kill them. They beat the best army in the West, Napoleon. Whipped his behind. And they did it based on music. Their music is so powerful. If you listen to Haitian voodoo music, you know, my mother calls it devil music. She said, the blood of Jesus. The blood of Jesus. Because she's Pentecostal. She said, don't listen to that stuff. I said, Mommy, it's music. Y'all do the same thing. Y'all jump up in the spirit and speak tongues. You prophesy. They do the same thing. I'm not into the religion, but I understand the similarities. The white man has given us the Bible. He took our land. He gave us it. Read the Bible. Read it. Get caught up in the Bible. And while you're praying and reading the Bible, we're taking your land. And Jomo Kenyatta said that. He said, while we were praying, with your eyes closed, they took the land. Free the land. I believe that there will be a time in this country, and maybe starting here, when there will be no road back. In other words, you won't be able to sashay or shuck and jive. You won't be able to do it. And you'll have to make a stand. I've got my ass kicked so much. Pain is almost natural for me. I have a therapist who said you like pain too much. I don't mean I'm a freak, but I mean I don't know, I may be. But I believe that when you love, you're willing to put your life on the line. You're willing to put your life on the line. I went to jail when I was 16. Somebody made the mistake, a brother, made the mistake of not understanding the culture. Puerto Rican culture is like this. If you fuck with anybody, my friend, it's a wrap. I don't ask questions. I don't go to the police. I go to you, and I take you out, especially if you hurt them to the point where they're almost dead. So I heard that he beat my brother up. I was in the Carnegie Hall listening to Renaissance music. I happen to like European classical music, and I love jazz. So don't get it wrong that you can't do two at the same time. And I came home and I saw him down. He was trembling, his face was distorted and contorted. So I said, who did this to you? He named the guy. I said, that's it. I knew he was dead. I have to tell you, I knew. So I called my peeps up in another part of Brooklyn. And if you know anything about Brooklyn in those days, it was like a war zone. It was warrior school. So I called him, we went, and I spoke to the guy. I was terrified of him. The worst thing in the world is to have a man standing in front of you who's scared of you. Because he'll do anything he can to kill you. So I said, okay, why'd you hit my brother? And here's the mistake he made, talking about family. He said, fuck out of here, man. You ask me why I hit your brother. I'll hit your sister. I'll hit you. I'll hit your mother. And that's all he remembers. That's all he remembers. I don't know what happened, what got into me, but I hit him so hard, he fell down, fell back, tried to run, kicked his ass. My boy, who was with me, stabbed him twice. Bang, bang. We use knives, by the way. We use knives. And I got busted within 10 minutes, and they beat me for 2 hours. Now, I met a guy, his name was Stanley Howard. I had him on the air. I have a radio program in New York. He was beaten for 4 hours. They put a plastic bag over his head. Be prepared for torture. Be prepared for it. Be prepared for the worst things that you could. We sometimes ascribe humanity to people who are not human.
Mm-hmm.
They don't care. Look what they're doing in the Congo. We've lost so many black people in the Congo. We lost so many people in Darfur. It's sad. And who's that woman who she said, in the name of Jesus, I rebuke you, Satan, and he shot her in the face.
So you messy.
And the guy was tall. He was a big guy. Why would he need to do that?
her road.
Well, pardon me, man?
In her road.
In her road.
And
There are some Latinos in Texas who are saying now that they're to try to keep them from voting, they're taking them out of their homes in the middle of the night, sitting them outside in their brothers, their grandmothers, and going through their house, going through their. If you have pot, forget about it. I hope I'm not painting a bleak picture, but I hope you understand how serious this is. This is a place that has to be protected. It has to be protected, brothers.